Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Let's have a look at the War God Impossible mission for Nirvana. And yeah, this is my favorite of the War God Impossible quests. I find this one pretty fun to play. And then also the character of Nirvana, he's also my favorite of the War Gods. So yeah, aces all around here. And then gimmicks here are warps and gravity barriers. And yeah, I was feeling kind of cheeky, so I went with a free party. So all of my monsters are drop monsters, and then my friend is a hatcher. The first character I'm using is Jabberwocky Evolution. He is a bounce with no gravity barrier, and he does not have no warp, so he gets tripped up by those. But yeah, he plays very similarly to Nanami Transcendent, who is another bounce with no gravity barrier. And yeah, Nanami is considered one of the best characters for this mission, so Jabberwocky is like the drop version of her. And then there's two really good reasons why he's good for this mission. One, he has a breath bump combo. And that's great because it locks on to the center of a target. And then later on we'll see that Nirvana has a weak point in the center of his sprite. So the breath, which is able to penetrate, can hit that weak point and do triple damage. And that's really good. Then the other reason why he's good is because he has a meteor strike shot, which can be good during the boss sequence. I will not make good use of it, but I'll be able to explain at least why it's good. Next up I'm using Karen Evolution. She is the latest light super extreme monster. And yeah, she's been one of my favorites. She's a bounce with both no gravity barrier and no warp, so she addresses the gimmicks here. She's got a decent bump combo, and they lock on Shockwave. And then she has a strike shot where she becomes a Pierce, until she hits a wall, and then she becomes a bounce again. And yeah, this can be good because there are chances to pinch in between the wall and the boss, and then also that pierce attack can be good for getting that weak point in the center of Nirvana. Next up I'm using Izanami. She also has no gravity barrier, no warp. Also has a meteor strike shot, and then has a rebound laser, which of course pierces through guys. So yeah, she's pretty awesome for this mission as well. And then finally I'm using a Hanzo Transcendent, another bounce, no gravity barrier, no warp character. He has a strong bump combo. He's got the super slice and dice, which can also pierce to the center of a character, so that's good against the boss. And then a homing shot, which is always pretty useful. Then he's got a strike shot where he creates a barrier around himself and can block damage to him for a certain number of turns. It also really increases his speed, so when you're doing like a pinch shot in between the wall and the boss, that can be really good there. Okay, let's talk about the mission. Here we see a new enemy, these skulls, and then we want to take down the ones without counterattack marks on them. If we take those guys down, they just go away and we don't have to deal with them. We do not want to take down the skulls with the counterattack marks on them, because they will hit us with like a counter homing shot and then revive the next turn. So yeah. That left column there we want to leave alone. The right column we want to, or the right row we want to take down. Otherwise, yeah, we just want to get rid of everybody else. And then these early stages, both Jabberwocky and Nanami are not going to be very useful. The warps really kind of limit their mobility. So yeah, they're not really good sources of damage. But once we get to the boss sequence, then they'll become very useful. Kind of a high risk, high reward sort of a thing. And then this robot guy is pretty important, or he will become important once we get to the boss sequence. Okay, once we take down all of the non-skull guys, then the skull guys will run away, so... Okay, here's a surprising mini-boss, and that is Ribbon. And yeah, one of the very few Hatcher monsters that is a enemy during a mission. But if we hit her, we will get speed up, so we want to be careful about not maybe going too far out of the area. And then these two robot guys, they will heal everybody, so we want to take down at least one before we go after Ribbon. And yes, all of these grass guys, they have horizon lasers, so we want to be either above or below them. Okay, so here I think I'm doing enough damage to Ribbon that I can take her down without having to take down the little robot guys. Okay, very good. Alright, yes, and once we take care of her, then everybody else will run away. Alright, same thing here. A little bit more difficult because Ribbon is in the center of the screen. And yeah, here Jabberwocky and Nanami, they're at a disadvantage because they have the elemental weakness against these characters. Okay, pretty good damage there. Yeah, but healed up by the robot guys, so we want to get rid of them. Okay, whoops, there's that speed up. Okay, and then here with the Hanzo, I'm going to try for a kind of a tricky shot. It's a pinch shot in between Ribbon and then the top grass guy. And then sometimes you can get stuck in there and just take down the boss just right out. Wasn't able to get it there, but still able to take down the boss. Okay, HP is low. Okay, here is the boss sequence. And then the first thing that we want to do is notice that Nirvana does not have a weak point. The way that we can get the weak point out is to take down the robot guy in the lower left. We can see that he has a counterattack symbol on him. Okay, so with Karen here, we might be able to take down the robot guy. Oh, we got a match shot on that weak point. So yeah, we take down the robot, and then Nirvana has a weak point on him. And yeah, then it's easier for us to do damage to him. But because the weak point is in the center of him, things like normal attacks, like the one from Izanami there, will not do a lot of damage. So either bump combos or pierce characters, we will need to hit that weak point and get that damage in there. And then this is where Jabberwocky becomes very powerful. But again, there are these warps, so I'm going to try to jump in this warp and then maybe hopefully end up near the boss. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's hit Jabberwocky with Karen here and see what kind of damage that does. Okay, pretty good. And then if we look at Nirvana's HP bar, he does have a tick mark. We need to get him below that tick mark before a certain amount of turns, or else he'll hit us with an ultimate attack. Once he crosses that tick mark, he will have kind of a permanent defense down, so it'll be much easier to damage him you know, with or without piercing attacks. Alright, so there, for example, that was a pinch shot. So even without the weak point advantage, we still got a lot of damage into Nirvana. Okay, same deal here. We want to take down the robot and then make Nirvana's weak point appear. Okay, so there goes the robot, and here comes the weak point. And then it's just about doing damage to the boss. And yeah, usually I ignore all of the little guys around. So like the dragonflies and the skulls, I don't really pay them any mind. And then the best place for Izanami or Bishamonten, if you are using them, I find it's above Nirvana, because then it makes it pretty easy to get their laser bump combos into his weak point. Okay, now I'm going to talk about meteor strike shots for this mission. There are two kind of good ways to use meteor strike shots here. One is kind of in the beginning of a stage, so you can use it on the robot guy in particular. If you don't have good positioning to kind of pinch shot him, you can use the meteor and then get rid of the robot guy. The other good example of when to use it is after you clear Nirvana's tick point on his HP bar. Because if you use it before then, even with the weak point out, it won't do a lot of damage. It'll do better damage after the second form comes out. Of those two, I prefer the first, using it on the robot if you need it. If Nirvana's weak point is, if Nirvana is in his second form, then you just you don't need to worry about using the meteor on other guys. You just need to worry about doing damage to the boss himself. So that's why I prefer using the meteor earlier in the stage rather than later. Alright, here I'm going to do up and down with a Jabberwocky, and hopefully he'll end up near Nirvana. No. But Karen is in great position for the pinch shot. She was able to get in there by using her Pierce becomes a bounce strike shot earlier. Okay, so Izanami is in great position for his pinch shot, or her pinch shot, so we'll get in a bit of damage there. And then with Hanzo and Karen, we'll try to get rid of the robot. And then Jabberwocky, all he can really do is just kind of hang around Nirvana until somebody else hits him, and then hope the breath goes into the boss's weak point. Okay, so with Karen, we'll get rid of the robot. Very good. Alright, and then here, I was trying to use Izanami's Meteor Strike Shot to sort of get down and then hit that dragonfly down there. I will not be able to do it. Yeah, a regular bound. Meteor doesn't do a lot of damage. Oh well. Okay, here with Hanzo, let's use his strike shot. He'll get the speed up, so we can do a little bit of damage to the boss. And lucky bounce there, we got the pinch shot on the wall, and then lowered the HP below the tick mark. And then he'll be in good position for a pinch shot later. With Jabberwocky, we'll pinch in between the skull and Nirvana. So yeah, he's in great position to get the breath into the weak point there. So let's do that with Karen. Excellent. Izanami, not a lot she can do here. She'll just hit Hanzo to make the super slice and dice go into the boss's weak point. So that's decent damage. Yikes, HP's looking low. But we'll go for the pinch shot, get the critical, and there goes the boss. Okay, so that was Nirvana. Again, my favorite mission and my favorite character from the War God Impossible series. Alright, no drops there, but thankfully we got the guaranteed one. And that is that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.